Welcome to Archispeak, a fortnightly podcast about all things architecture. My name is Evan Troxel, and I'm one of your hosts along with Neil Pan and Cormac Phelan. Have you ever wondered what it's like to work in the profession of architecture? Have you ever worked with an architect? Have you ever wanted to be an architect? Maybe you're in school and don't know what you're getting yourself into, or perhaps you know exactly what it's like because you've been working in the profession for a long time, and you know that the more things change, the more they stay the same. Or maybe, just maybe, you're planning on changing the world. Join us as we have a casual conversation about our passion, architecture. It's time for some Archispeak.
Welcome to episode 90 of the Archispeak podcast. I'm Neil Pan.
I'm Evan Troxel.
And I'm Cormac Phelan.
And this is another special episode recorded this time on May 20th from the AIA Convention in Philadelphia and sponsored by ARCAT. ARCAT is an online resource for all of your building product needs. Visit them at the AIA Convention booth 3401 or online at arcat.com. So once again, we're coming to you from our mobile studio in downtown Philadelphia on the second full day of the AIA Convention. I think first up we had the keynote this morning, right guys?
Yeah, the keynote was great. I felt like it was great. I don't know if everybody thought it was great who was there because I think it was a little out there for some people.
Who gave the keynote?
Neri Oxman, who we talked a little bit about yesterday, and she is the director. I think she's the director out at the MIT Media Lab of the mediated matter portion of it, which seems like that's a little bit of a. I'm sure they have different groups within the Media Lab, but anyway, she gave the keynote address, and after several awards were given, and they talked about some different things this morning, she delivered a great, inspiring speech. I thought she was very passionate. I mean, we can get to that in a minute. Why don't we talk about the other stuff that actually came before that?
The trailers that led up to the movie.
Yeah, exactly. Good way to put it. All right, so let's see. Robert Ivy and Russ Davidson, again, kind of tag teamed the intro of today's festivities. And one of the first things that they talked about was the new 2016 iLookUp Film Challenge. And they kind of whet our appetite to get people excited about that film challenge, which is a competition that they ran last year, and they're running it again this year. So there's some definitely cool prizes involved, which you can look up on ilookup.org.
And I'm going to read a little bit of the intro of basically what it is. It's the iLookUp Challenge calls upon filmmakers to share their vision with a 2 to 3 minute video exploring the power of architecture to create solutions and uplift communities.
There you go.
And so what they did was they showed a quick 2 to 3 minute video that, of course, featured the rural studio, War Eagle. And, of course, I'm just like getting goosebumps and chills because they're showing my school and in my studio and just people that I know that are so passionate about architecture. So it was really kind of good to see that. If you guys just go to ilookup.org, watch the video, that's what they're shooting for. They've got a lot of cash prizes, and a lot of the winners will go to a lot of the different film festivals around the country, New York, Los Angeles, South by Southwest. And depending on your level of award, they'll fly you and you'll get to participate in all of them or just one of each of them. So it's a good prize package, actually.
Yeah, pretty substantial. And obviously the goal is to get the word out about architecture through film and through storytelling. And the compelling story that they showed with Rural Studio about Hale County, Alabama, what in the town that they're working in, I mean, it really starts to tell an emotional story about architecture, and it really seems like that's a no-brainer. That's really what they're shooting for, trying to get films made about like that kind of a thing where they're showing how architecture can affect the environment and the people that use it.
Right.
So after they announced that, they handed out the Whitney M. Young Jr. Award. This year it went to R. Stephen Lewis for advocating and mentoring minority architects of color, and he gave a really nice speech. I thought it was well done and kind of touching. He talked about his dad, who was an architect before him, and what his dad taught him, and then what he's done with his two partners and what they've been able to accomplish. So it seemed well deserved.
Oh, absolutely.
After the Whitney M. Young Jr. Award, they talked about the 25-year award, which is for a project. And this year, that went to the Monterey Bay Aquarium, which...
We were just there when we went to a Monterey Design Conference. Neil and I stopped in there and walked around, and it was kind of cool to see like all of the little kids engaging all of the different programs and stuff like that. And
it's an amazing place.
Absolutely.
And what an amazing site. And what's amazing to me, watching the little video that they did, again, a really compelling video. It was more documentary style, kind of talking about EHDD and how they worked with the client. And this was back in the 80s, but it was an amazingly complex building. All of the things that they were trying to solve and keep it flexible for the future. They knew that they were building a 100-year building, and they knew that they had to design it in such a way that the building could transform over all that time, but still infrastructurally not rot out, right? And so it's one of those buildings that is timeless because of the way that the architecture responds to its context.
Yeah, and when I was out there, obviously it was the first time I've ever seen it, so I was I didn't honestly get or feel that it was a 25-year-old building.
Yeah.
Although, didn't you say that you went on class trips there before?
Yeah, my son and I actually, when he was in Cub Scouts, actually got to spend the night down there and sleep in the large room with the sharks.
Oh, that's awesome.
So sleeping with the fishes.
Sleeping with the fishes. In fact, I think that was the title of it or something, the trip. It's an amazing building. It was actually the very first time I had been there, and we were very fortunate because there was only maybe 100 scouts in the entire building. And from what I understand, that it's a pretty packed place every time you go there, and there's multiple levels of people deep to see everything. And so we were there running around for a couple hours, the whole night, basically being able to see whatever we wanted and having nobody in line.
Like playing Zombie Apocalypse with sharks. Yeah,
exactly. It's that was my first time there, actually. And even though I live not far from it, but pretty amazing place. And I had no idea that of some of the infrastructure type things and challenges. I mean, the building is right on the water.
Yeah.
And
it's
over the water. Right. Yeah. It's so, and the work that they do there is just incredible for the sea life and the marine life in the area and worldwide studying.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty funny when the architect mentioned that in the main tank, it's living kelp, not plastic kelp, which you see at many aquariums that you go to. So it really does kind of set the standard, I think.
Absolutely.
For aquariums.
But the pirate's treasure chest, that was fake.
I didn't see that when I was there.
So a great acceptance of that award. The speech that was given was a little weird. Again, this is kind of what I felt last year. It seems too plastic. It wasn't like just an off the cuff speech. It was obviously very prepared and kind of just read, and I didn't feel like that was as well delivered as it could have been. From there, we went on to Neri Oxman, who delivered the keynote speech for the day, and in contrast to yesterday's keynote speech with Julia Louis-Dreyfus, no contest. It was really well delivered. It was very appropriate for a lot of people in the room. I won't say that there was everybody in the room who was totally into it, but it was definitely something that I walked away feeling like, man, to have her passion for what she's doing,
absolutely,
it's contagious, and that was a cool thing to experience.
I will say that I saw a lot of blank faces that didn't quite get it, didn't quite understand it, and I think, after having a conversation with a couple of people afterwards, I think that what they were missing, and I'll put myself with that, is that a lot of times we're so bogged down with the now and the immediate of what we're doing that we didn't quite see the transition from. Now, her research is out there. I mean,
it's very future.
It is very future.
She mentioned that. She said, you guys are doing what you're doing now. Yeah. I am only concerned about the future.
And I think what they were looking for was the connection between where they are now and where she is. And to be quite honest with you, I made the connection between, or the analogy using the movie Tomorrowland. So Tomorrowland, they zapped into the future and, or this, future dimension. And in the future dimension, they're standing on a bridge that's being 3D printed.
Right.
Well, the way that she was presenting some of her work automatically reminded me of that. And so to me, it did kind of trigger, she's starting to look at things that sci-fi and movie directors and stuff are looking at as like these way in the future type things as a practical application for what she's researching. So I can see the connection. I'm not quite sure a lot of the people there saw the connection as well.
What the interesting thing is, it's not just theory. It is reality. And they are actually doing this stuff right now. And I think that it was great that she kept trying to relate it to architecture.
Yes.
She kept trying to relate it to materials. Concrete, she brought up quite a few times. What was interesting about what she was presenting was really about how they can develop and 3D print. It was really a lot around 3D print, either synthetic or natural. And by natural 3D printing, she actually is relating to using bees and silkworms. They're trying to kind of control behavior so that they can actually control how things get built through the natural environment, designing with nature, they called it. And so she still kind of called that 3D printing, even though it's a natural process.
Right.
But the level of detail at which they're doing that, they're relating back to how the tools that we use to analyze things structurally, fluid dynamics analysis, all of these tools, these digital tools that we have, and the resolution at which they can actually analyze things is a way higher resolution than anything we can actually build things at, right? Until now. And that's really what she's saying, is now they actually have the tools that can build things at the resolution that we can analyze them. And this is something that I experienced last year at Autodesk University, where they're running these routines to analyze things for structural, pathways that loads go.
Right.
They're talking about the way that fluids go. They're talking about concrete, where she mentioned, what if you could actually 3D print a building based on these analyses where you do really porous concrete in areas where you don't need it to be high strength, and then you do it in very dense areas where you need it only. And so having that level of control is going to take our structural abilities to the next level. And so I thought it was cool that she kept relating it back to architecture, even though they're not doing it architecturally. Right. They're doing it with lots of different materials that are going to lead to it, really informing how we use it architecturally.
And that's why, using like the Tomorrowland analogy, they're showing the transition. Yes, it is a fantasy movie and sci-fi, but name virtually everything that we have now was fantasy and sci-fi back then.
Look at Arthur C. Clarke, look at Stanley Kubrick, look at all these things where you look at these ideas that happened in the 50s and 60s and their reality today, and it's the same thing with this.
Exactly. And so I think I can see the transition between the two. And I hope a lot of people understood and came away with the same kind of understanding and kind of appreciation. I mean, dedication. The dedication that she has towards this research. I mean, if half of our profession had the same type of dedication, my God, we could rule the world.
And she is an architect, so she's definitely thinking about it with that same type of a mindset.
Oh, yeah.
I think what was really interesting was she was thinking of this leading down a path where the systems are all built from a single material.
Right.
Which is really interesting. She's showing examples where structure and skin are built from the same material. And so
as one fluid element.
As one element, yeah. And she actually called it, a single homogeneous element can be a building with variation in all properties like an organism, but it's no longer an assembly of parts. It's a single homogeneous element.
Yeah, she was talking about how this could translate. You've got different depths of nozzles and pressures and stuff for transparencies, for thickness, for structure versus skin. I mean, it was actually really cool to see that, because we when we'll get to it, but walking around looking at the city and all of the different structures and layering and everything, they're complicated.
Yeah. And
the research that she's doing almost takes the complication out of it and makes it a fluid form.
And she talked about Pompidou Center, right? Imagine that instead of an assembly of parts as a single piece.
Yeah.
And that's just to give you kind of a mental picture of the type of thing that she was talking about. So anyway, I walked away very inspired from that. I felt like It was cool because I'm going up a set of stairs when I was out afterward, and there was a guy on the phone talking to somebody, probably his wife, and he's like, "They're making buildings with bees." And he was so excited, and this guy had to be in his 70s, and he got it. I mean, he was excited, and I thought it was really cool. So I know that she did connect with a lot of people in that room. She got a standing ovation. It was
awesome.
It was fantastic. All right, so after the keynote, she kind of ran right up until the last minute, and then everybody jammed out of there, and we ended up running for coffee, yeah, and we ended up ditching the convention together. Neil, what did you say? I'm getting the hell out of here. It's a perfect day out.
It was a beautiful day here in Philadelphia today. It was, I don't know, mid 70s or
high
something.
70s,
High
it felt
70s.
like, yeah.
A nice
Beautifully
breeze.
sunny, and tomorrow's supposed to be like maybe 60 degrees and rainy.
Yeah.
So we're leaving after tomorrow, and tomorrow being our only really full day to kind of see Philadelphia. Just wanted to get out and see the city, so we ventured out and wandered around Philadelphia with a friend of the show, actually, to kind of show us around a little bit.
Yeah, local friend who knows everything. He's an interesting guy because he's got an architecture degree, but is not in the architecture profession, and he is just so excited about his city and loves to show us, everything around. So I'll go ahead and say it. Thank you, John Cruz. You did a great job. I mean, you just translated your passion for the city and the passion for architecture, and hell, you're even passionate for art because you're a fantastic photographer, and you gave us a really nice experience.
Yep. Can't be beat to have a specialized tour guide in the city that you're visiting.
Absolutely.
And it made a very high level of intensity for us today, because it was like we hit all these sites. We walked like 20,000 steps today. We did like 25 flights of stairs, and we were jamming, and we packed it in. But, man, talk about a whirlwind trip, and we couldn't have done it without him. So thanks, John.
Absolutely.
So where did we start? Where was the first place we went?
Independence Park, wasn't it?
Yeah, we started with Independence Park. We walked through there. We know that we were going to go back there later, so we really didn't go to see Independence Hall or go to the Liberty Bell because, of course,
the line was 5 miles long.
The line was 5 miles long. All of the school trips and families and everything else were there, so it was a little. We wouldn't have had the day that we had if we would have stopped there.
No.
So.
We got to, trespass through George Washington's house, right?
Prior to the White House. And
that's right.
U.S. Capitol was here. And while the White House was under construction, George Washington and half of John Adams were in
Half
here.
of him?
Half of him or half of his administration was here. He was actually... John Adams was the first president to occupy the White House, but before that, he was here, and it was on the grounds in Independence Plaza. And we were trying to make our beeline to go and get some cheesesteaks, but while we were doing that, we were hitting all these different architectural spots. So we hit that. We walked past the Ben Franklin's printing operation
and the first U.S. post office.
The first U.S. post office. Ben Franklin had a little thing with that too. Then we
just a little.
And then what was great? Let me just sidebar here again. John was like so full of knowledge about his city. So not only were we going to these architectural places, but we got a little bit of insight, both on the historical side and just his impression of the architecture and everything else. And that again just made the whole thing fun.
Yeah, it was super cool.
And we went to Benjamin Franklin's house, or the remains thereof, and
foundations.
Yeah, the foundations are there, and the framing of where it would have stood and approximating what it would have been. Now, from what I know historically, they don't really know because he didn't have any drawings. There was sketches that were printed in the newspaper and stuff, but they really didn't have like a full understanding of what it was, and they couldn't tell quite the full layout of it from the foundations and stuff. But this is a close approximation of Ben's house. But
I love it. I love the steel frame. It's such a clear idea,
right?
And the way that it just you can really imagine what it was like to be there, like the amount of space between the houses. There's multiple buildings there. There's this tunnel that kind of goes right through the middle of them, and that's even made out of steel. So really cool, just kind of thin elements floating in the air that give you this outer framework of the size of the buildings that he was in. That was just such a neat idea. I love it.
And the most important stop of the day was
Campos. That's right.
Campos cheesesteaks. My God, that was good.
That was good.
Long wait, but it was because everybody knows it was a good place to go and good food. So then we kept on walking. We stopped by, what was the church? Christchurch, where there was a very impassioned docent,
yes,
who felt like he should have been on the pulpit rather than on giving a tour. He should have been preaching. But
he sort of was preaching, actually.
But he was definitely full of some good history. Then we
fun to listen to,
right? And what was great about that is that, what was it, 7 of the signers of the Declaration? Were they buried?
They're buried there on the grounds there.
Okay,
yeah. There's a marble plaque noting that their remains are buried on premises there. Pretty interesting.
Very. And then we went to
Elfers Alley. That's a tongue twister.
Yeah, it is.
So the significance was,
it is the oldest continuously used
lived in street in America.
Yeah, and there
according
are
to John.
Oh no, not even according to John.
Yeah.
The plaque said it.
Yeah,
John said it.
Oh, okay.
People were like going in and out of their house.
People live there. Yeah,
people still live there.
There are tours going up and down this small alley.
There's cobblestones. There's height. There's doors. There's
this
basement
is pre-Revolutionary War dwellings.
Yeah, it was
that are still continuously lived in. And there was even one for sale.
Yeah.
Caldwell Banker sign on it.
Exactly. So
I'm sure it's not that expensive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
I don't know how they would put up with
tourists all the time.
You live in a tour or in a. What would be the right word? People are looking at your houses all day long.
And that's just kind of an understanding that you have going into buying a place like that, is that it's going to be like that.
Yeah, I think that, it was explained to us that, they're going to be just part of the thing, Part of your house is all of the tourists who are going to be coming by, taking pictures.
Like you're living in a public building.
Yeah,
almost.
You're living in a fish tank.
Yeah, well, that's for sure. Really amazing buildings, though.
It was beautiful.
And the shape, they're in great shape. Everything considered.
Yeah, we'll definitely put a picture of that place because it was fantastic. Where'd we go after that, Neil?
We hit the subway.
We hit the subway.
The subway.
That was
the L.
nice.
The L, not the subway.
The L.
Yeah.
Even though it is.
No, that's what John said.
Yeah, I know they call it an L, but
it's not elevated.
It's not elevated.
Yeah,
it's not the part we were on.
It's not elevated. It was definitely underground, and I know John's probably listening to this like, shut up, you. But
he can correct us in the comments.
Yeah, but it was definitely not a DC type of metro stop there. It was it was salty. It had its flavor.
But it was cool.
It was definitely cool.
And it was nice to not be on our feet for a while. So we rode to City Hall.
Yep.
And got out there and worked our way up.
First, we stopped at Logan Square.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
that's
Logan
right.
Square.
Logan Square, the fountains, and we got to see that. What
was really interesting about that was the conversation that John was telling us about the stone carver or the sculptor who did, was it William Penn's statue?
Yes, yeah. His son did the statue at Logan Square.
And then his son did the statue at Logan Square. And then his son was a sculptor who had artwork displayed at the art museum.
Right.
So it was like 3 generations of sculptors
all along
that
same avenue
that are part of Philadelphia history.
That's awesome. So then we went back to the barns, but this time we went inside.
And oh my Lord, what a religious experience for me.
It was amazing. And I thought I could talk about the architecture for days. I'm sure you could talk about the art for days.
I could talk about the art for days.
And it was fantastic. And you can just go buy the $50 book.
You couldn't shake a stick without hitting a Cézanne or a Renoir. I'm walking through these, and literally I was getting weepy and misty looking at these rooms, and there's times where we only maybe have like the ability to see like one or two on display in a traveling exhibit.
But there's like
room after room after room after room
after room.
It was just amazing, and they're like just scattered all over. Oh, look, Cezanne, Renoir, Manet, Monet. It was just like, oh my lord!
Each room was filled with probably 50 different paintings,
and probably somewhere in the neighborhood of like, I don't know, hundreds of millions per room.
Maybe priceless.
Well, yeah, priceless for sure.
Well,
but
there was lots of amazing ironwork, right? Wrought ironwork.
Oh, yeah.
Hanging on the walls.
But each room was basically duplicated the way he actually had them displayed in his house, right?
Just real quick.
Okay.
So I want to just throw this out there. There's a great documentary, and I believe it's still on Netflix, called Art of the Steal. And it's about how the Barnes Foundation was basically, I won't say abducted from the private foundation after Arthur Barnes died, but it's an interesting way of how the art went from suburbia. I can't remember exactly where John said it was.
At his house, right?
But it was at his house.
Yeah. Outside of the city.
Outside of the city, just in a suburb. And the city had been trying to get that collection for years, for decades.
And the only people who had access to it were his wife's students.
Yeah.
Right?
And his friends.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's what was amazing to me, is that you're looking at all of this artwork. This is an incredible, unexplainable collection of artwork. And it was just in his house. Like, oh yeah, so the bathroom is, 2 doors down, go past the Cezanne and the Renoir. You might have to step over the Rodin, I can't remember if I'm using it as a doorstop, but it's over there.
Don't wipe your hands on the Van Gogh.
Exactly. And it was just amazing. And, I don't want to drone on forever because it could be a very long show if I do. But, and then the architecture.
And the architecture is... They had to do something to justify moving this, and it is an amazing solution, and it is an experience in itself.
Oh, it is. We were smitten by it yesterday when we were just
on the outside.
Just on the outside, and the inside did not disappoint.
Nope. And so we'll include a link to that. I think there's a link to it on Arc Daily, but there's also a monograph on that building itself.
Yes.
The details are wonderful. It is just an amazing place to experience, and it really does put the art on display. And the building does really feel kind of background. I know, because they did try to replicate a lot of the rooms that were in Barnes's home, that the art was displayed in, to replicate how it was displayed in his home, which was important.
Once you're inside the building, actually, and going through each of the rooms, you felt like you were walking through somebody's house.
Right.
But...
it didn't feel like a museum.
The detailing was impeccable. It was just the natural daylight. There's so many things to go on and on about. It's something that you should definitely experience if you're in Philly.
Yeah, and one of the things I'd like to do is I'd like to find out why he hung it the way he did, because it wasn't. To me, it seemed haphazard, but to him, it was definitely deliberate. But you had. Old 1500 Flemish art, sitting next to a Renoir and a Cezanne, and there was a lot of Renoir and Cezanne. That's why I keep saying Renoir and Cezanne so much, because wow, there was a lot. But it was amazing that it was a little. It seemed disjointed, but it all worked. It all flowed properly together. It felt right. Maybe it was a mood thing, or maybe I don't know, because they all kind of felt similar. It
was pretty cool. So again, amazing all around. So after that, we got out of there and we went to Neil's.
Neil had to do the rise.
I had to make the pilgrimage to see the Rocky statue, of course, and run up the steps, which I think somebody videoed me doing that.
Yeah, they did.
So that will never appear anywhere. But
that's what you think.
Let's hope. No, I've been a Rocky fan for a long time, and kind of grew up with the character. So to finally be here in Philadelphia and to have the opportunity to run up the steps and see the statue and do that. And my son's become a big fan, and we went and saw the most recent movie, Creed. And so I texted him the photos too. I'm a few hours ahead of him right now, so I'm not sure what his reaction is yet, but hopefully he'll be thrilled. So that was great, and I appreciate you guys walking all the way up there for that one, because it was a little bit of a walk. But it was a beautiful day to do it, though.
It was pretty funny how John said that Philadelphia's most famous modern person is fictional.
Yeah.
And they thought it's kind of. And
he also mentioned that statue of Rocky is like one of the most photographed things in all of Philadelphia.
Yep. And I actually heard a tour bus driving by saying the same thing. They said this is the most photographed area in the whole city. And it's
a fictional character.
There was a line 20, 30 people deep to get their picture taken with Rocky with their power pose going on. And then there was quite a few people running the steps.
Oh, there's in fact, John was mentioning that, people run up and down those steps, sometimes as exercise, but just random visitors are doing. And even when we were walking up to the steps, I was noticing, oh, there goes another person. There goes another person. Yeah. And some people went up like one flight and then stopped but I did make it all the way up. No problem. In case anyone was wondering.
You better. You run marathons.
I know. There was no problem. I ran right up it. So even in my jeans and dress shoes. So I was not in my running shoes for this one. But it was great. And then actually at the top they had
they made the Philly love sign in Spanish for the Pope when he came recently. So that was pretty cool.
That was cool. And then where'd we go after that? We kind of made our way all the way back, right?
Yep, that was about it.
Getting ready for day 3.
So tomorrow we're expecting rain.
Icing our feet.
We're expecting to hit the show floor and catch up with a bunch of booths and things like that. And at 2:00 is Rem Koolhaas delivering the day 3 keynote. So we'll see if he can live up to the keynote that happened today with Neri Oxman.
It's got to bring the heat.
Hopefully he does. And we'll be telling you about it in a wrap-up show after the AIA convention is all wrapped up in about a week.
Yeah, so I think that's about it for this episode. And really, this is our last episode we'll be doing directly here in Philly. So, but as Evan mentioned, we are going to do a special 4th episode, kind of a follow-up. And we'll have that out pretty soon, and we'll just kind of recap the day 3 and some other things that happened throughout the week. And include hopefully some of the interviews and things that we were working on here. So I just want to say thanks to everyone for tuning in to these special episodes from Philly. And thanks again to Arcat, too, by the way, for sponsoring these special conference episodes of Archispeak. So we'll see everyone soon, and it's been a great time here in Philly. Really appreciate the city's been a fantastic host.
Fantastic.
Yep. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Sam.
You have to walk it, you can start now, or you can hang your head in despair. The only road will take you there. They may tell you that you'll never recover, baby. I've learned one thing or another about you. It's the only road will get you there. And if they don't know how to treat a lady, maybe you can teach them how to act. They could use a little bit of discipline and a hand on the backside, baby. Let's pretend we're doing the right thing, and while we're at it, have the opposite day. Some like to hug, some leave a bruise, some need to know I'm ready for you. It manufactures glory for the felonies fractures. Bulldozing through like a tractor, a cracked actor, a mother of earth. And if they don't know how to hold a woman, maybe you can put them back in their place. They could use a little bit of discipline and a hand across their face. Baby,